I'm going to be comparing Pabst Blue Ribbon and a Norwegian Pilsner called Aass. That is AASS. It's not pronounced ass. Both of these beers are rated at 4.7 ABV. On Beer Advocate, Pabst has a score of 69, which is poor, but 70 is good, so it's very close to good. Whereas Aass has a score of 84, which is good, but not very good. Pabst is a very sweet beer, which has little to no hop detectability in my experience. Whereas Aass has a unique hop flavor that I haven't picked up in too many other beers. It kind of reminds me of the flavor of jasmine. Also, Aass is very difficult to pour without getting any kind of foam on it. Even though I was as gently as possible, and there wasn't much foam when it finished, but now it has built up and looks like about a centimeter foam layer on top, whereas the Pabst Blue Ribbon doesn't have any except around the ring. So therefore, it's not going to be possible to do this blind. Also, given these are two different styles, even though they are both pale lagers, this one is classified as a Pilsner, and this one is classified as American Adjunct Lager, and the ideal temperature for an American Adjunct Lager is 1 to 3 degrees Celsius for the best flavor. Whereas for a Pilsners, I believe it's 3 to 5 or 3 to 7, something like that. It's a bit higher. So when these are nice, icy cold right out of the fridge, Pabst probably taste better, and then as they warm up a bit, the flavor of this one starts to degrade, and the flavor of this one starts to improve. So this is quite smooth, sweet, easy drinking, no bitterness. You know, this is one of these beers, as long as it's cold, that you can just drink all night. It goes down like water pretty much, although it's got some bite to it. Doesn't have much tang, doesn't have any bitterness, but it's quite smooth. I call it the Kool-Aid of beers. Now this one has quite a floral taste. Doesn't have as much bite as the Pabst does. And it appears smoother in the mouthfeel. Whereas the Pabst feels a bit more carbonated. This one feels less carbonated, which means to me more watery. But it does have some bitterness, and it does have that flavor, which I believe comes from hops. It uses Aass hops from Czech, at least partially. I'm not sure what the total hop content is, but I know that it mentions Aass hops, or in the Czech language it'd be Zatiec. Aass is German. It's basically the name of the town where these hops were originally from. And in the Czech language, that town is called Zatiec, and in German language it's called Aass. And they even have a Czech beer from there called Zatiecki. Now the thing about Pabst, to me, is when I first start drinking it, it's pretty good, it's got a nice flavor. It starts warming up, it starts tasting more and more watery and plain. There's really nothing to it after a while. And although I said a few minutes ago that it's one of those beers that you can just sit there and drink all night as long as it's cold. And well, yeah, maybe if it is cold, but it's not going to stay cold. And as it starts warming up, you just kind of get tired of it. That's been my experience with Pabst. I get tired of drinking it because there's nothing to it. Now this beer, although it's smoother and less carbonated, it does have some type of flavor still going on in there. But because of the flatness of this one, the less crispness, the less bite that it has, I'm preferring the Pabst. But I think that as this warms up some more, it's just going to start tasting more and more watery. It's still all right. It's not great, but it's all right. And it's better than this. Because this one isn't very bitter, but it does have some kind of hoppiness flavor to it, which I describe as jasmine or a flowery, floral flavor. It's very florally. It's like you are drinking a flower in your beer. What kind of flower? I don't know. But that's the only flavor that you get out of it, pretty much, to me. So, I don't know, is jasmine a floral flavor or is it a herbal flavor? I don't know, but all I know about jasmine is that I was in Chinatown once, and I went to one of these Chinese stores, and I bought some Chinese soaps for my wife because I liked the way they smelled. They had a bunch of different types of them. I remember there was one that was jasmine, and the smell of that reminds me of how this tastes. You know, of course, they had sandalwood and other different fragrances, but it seems to me that jasmine, I remember that one, and in my mind, that aroma and this taste are connected somehow. Now, the Aass is starting to be a little bit preferable to the Pabst, although this is still have some flavor and it's still drinkable. It still hasn't gotten to the point where it's unbearable. This one is a little bit better. So which one would I choose if I had to drink one for the rest of my life? Well, that's difficult, because this one is clearly better in the beginning. It is good. However, you don't always have to get a big can like this. You can drink these in smaller containers, like a 12-ounce container, where you'll finish it up and then you go to the fridge, get another one, and it will be colder. So that would help. Now, this is different. I am not sure that I care too much for this jasmine or this florally or whatever type of flavor that the hops are imparting on here. Although I've had lots of beers that claim to have Aass hops in them, and very few of them have tasted like this. I can remember maybe one other beer in the past that I reviewed or compared where I thought it had a jasmine type of flavor to it, and I don't remember which one that was. Although there was another one that I just did recently from Guilford Hall Brewery called Baltimore Pilsner, which also has this jasmine type of flavor, and even more so than this one maybe. But it was better because it was more crisp and more carbonated and had a better bite to it, which I liked. So let me call it for one of these. Well, I think I would probably have to go with the Aass. And the reason is because I can find a lot of other beers that taste like Pabst. So if I had to get rid of one of these, I'd get rid of the Pabst, because no big deal. I can get Miller High Life, or I could go with Budweiser, which are not quite the same, but they're close. But where am I going to find another beer like this? Not many. There are not many choices. So I'm going to give it to the Aass. Although, like I said in the beginning, the Pabst is better, but this is more unique. And I would not want to never drink a beer like this again. Whereas I wouldn't have any problem never drinking Pabst again, because, like I said, there are plenty of other substitutes. This is kind of almost one of a kind. I mean, there aren't many like this, at least that I've tried. Of course, there might be a dozen beers like this. There might be 20. There might be 50. All the beers in the world, I haven't tried them all. But the ones I have tried, there aren't many like this. And like I said, I would rate it between the okay and good category. It's okay. It can be good. It's not great. Giving it a score of around maybe 80 on Beer Advocate. Pabst 69. I would give it higher than 69. I would give it maybe a 75. And that's it. So there you go. If you have a chance to see this as a store, you want to try something different, pick it up and see what you think about it. Let me know what you think about it. As far as Pabst goes, I should mention that, Pabst doesn't brew their own beer. They contract brew their beer, and their beer was contracted to be brewed with Miller or Molson Coors, which owns Miller. But in 2025, sometime in 2025, I think at the beginning of the year, they started contract brewing through Anheuser-Busch. And you can tell by the can. This one says Pabst Brewing Company, St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis, Missouri. That's where Anheuser-Busch American headquarters is. So also I found out that Schlitz is brewed there now too. So all these beers, these mega beers when I was a kid, Busch, Budweiser, Schlitz, Pabst Blue Ribbon, are now all brewed in the same place in St. Louis, not far from where I grew up, maybe 45 miles. I would have never thought that. Of course, Miller is still brewed in Milwaukee, and Coors is still brewed in Golden, Colorado. But all these other beers that are now brewed by Anheuser-Busch is surprising. I never thought I would see the day. But then I never thought I would see the day where beer giants like Miller or Anheuser-Busch Coors, would be bought out by foreign corporations. Of course, you know, Anheuser-Busch is owned by InBev, which they combined the names to Anheuser-Busch InBev. And InBev is a Belgian-based company. Miller was bought out by South African breweries and then bought by InBev. And then they sold that off. Now it's Molson Coors, Molson being the Canadian beer. So that's all. I've rambled on long enough. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it.